Good afternoon. This is Ron Brown. It's 10 minutes after 3 Central Time, and this is the 12th, I believe, or 13th. Sorry, I'm off one day of November. I'm going to take a look at the markets. This is my Saturday video, which I'm doing on Friday, so I am free tomorrow. I'm going to look at this, but before I do this, I'm going to go into my market analysis user groups and select broad market indices, and can take the filter off. I held the shift key down and it's updating. That's why it's taking a little while. And I'm going to rebuild the indexes in that group, and you can see there are several of them. So let's go back and take a look at the Nasdaq, or this is the composite. The trend is still up. You can see the 200, the 100, the 50, the 18, the 6, and the 3. And if the 3 is above the 6, that's generally pretty bullish. But if I put my crosshair here on the close and count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did gain a little ground this week, but not much. So there's a close. Here was a close on, well, that would have been Monday, actually. So I take that back. This was Friday's close. Here's today's close. And, we lost a little bit of ground, but just using the moving averages as a quick read on the market, the trend is still up. But if you look here across to the right from where the mouse is, you can see when this market traded up to resistance, it failed, and we have this to deal with again. Big rotation out of the large caps this week, but they have regained about 50% of that loss, it looks like. I'm going to just take a look at these statistics or charts very quickly. You can see the market. This is a 5-minute chart of the futures. You can see over the last, let's see, about 1 o'clock it started. That was the low, and then it rallied into the close. So obviously those in control of the big money wanted it to close fairly high, and that's exactly what happened. You can see the VIX was falling. Volume was just moderate, not heavy, and not much to talk about here. So I'll just move on. Let's take a look at another chart here, which I have. This one shows the after yesterday, which was weak. This is the Nasdaq breadth, and it was down yesterday. This is a 5-minute chart, 5-day chart. Same thing on the NYSE, and it was up all day today. Opened strong and pretty much held its ground throughout the day. In fact, going into the close, it looks like the move was pretty strong. Now we'll get a look at the way HGSI sees it. Well, I'm updating again, so what I'm going to do is go in here on intraday and intraday options. Sorry, I got the wrong thing here. Oh, I did the same thing over again. Intraday options. Let's do a manual update. Okay, so we shouldn't have that annoying hourglass on the screen from now on. Now, this is left over from doing the webinar yesterday. I'm doing a webinar series, and we're just pretty much into chart reading right now, and I'm using this format monthly, weekly, and daily. But for this market analysis, I'm going to probably do some rearranging. So I'm going to take this group, the market analysis user groups broad market folder. I'm going to click through to the warehouse, and then these are my warehouse views. If you're an Insider Club member, you have these also. And I'm going to click on number 3, because what this does, it immediately sorts on advancing issues versus declining issues. The top 100 stock holdings in ETFs, these are the top 100 holdings. You can see 49 to 1 or 98 to 2, 98 to 3 on the S&P 100, Dow Industrials 30 to 0. So a very strong day for the large cap. These are large cap techs. Well, it's a mixture actually, but I can tell immediately it was a strong day. And then the S&P 500. The Nasdaq 100 was actually the weakest but it still had a 3.5 to 1. I'm sorry, I'm on old Nasdaq. It had a 3.5 to 1, 3.56 to 1 advances over the decliners. Let's go up here to the Nasdaq 100. It was very strong today, 10 to 1. You can see that over here. No, I'm all mixed up. I'm sorry. This number means it was 9 to 1 to the upside. So 90 up, 10 down, and 1 unchanged. While I'm in here, I'm going to rearrange my screen here. And I'm going to choose some different charts. I'm going to go up to my HGSI index charts. I'm going to go to number 5. And since I just updated the index, this is going to include all the current data, and you can see the percentage of stocks above their moving averages. This is a percent above the 20-day moving average, and that's if I click on the last day here, you can see that's almost 75% above their 20-day, above the 30-day, 69%, 71% above the 50, and 86.4 above the 200 days. So this is a strong market. Now I'm doing the Nasdaq 100. Let's broaden that out a little bit. I'm going to use the S&P 1500. Click over here, put a crosshair on it, and you can see that these numbers are pretty similar. So, you know, we've been waiting maybe for the other shoe to drop, or some people have, but this looks like a pretty strong market to me. Now let's go down to the next one, which is number 6. That's chart number 6, and I've shown you this chart before. I use this chart a lot because it gives me a feel for both direction and breadth of an index, and you can see that those numbers that I looked at over here on the advancing issues versus declining issues are reflected in this chart because it was at least a 5 to 1 day on advancers versus decliners, and it was on the advancing volume compared to the declining volume. Look at this number right here, 18.99 to 1, advancing volume over declining volume. So very strong. Now you can see that the crossover for this move, the beginning of this move, was down here where the 3 crossed over the 6 at the same time. I had a yellow signal up here, which means that 4 out of the 5 indicators were positive. Only the 13-day force index was still red, so that's why it didn't generate a green bar. Also, if you look down here, pocket pivots, beginning on this day right here. But that was long after the moving average crossover. This up here, this area up here is what I really keep my eye on. Now let's go. It was a rough week for tech stocks early with rotation out. And you can see that happened right here. There were multiple red bars, but not a sell signal. And then it bounced Wednesday. Thursday was kind of a neutral day, and Friday's a good day here with the advancing issues and declining issues, and the volume, force index, and so on positive. So, I don't see much negativity in this market right now. Okay, I'm going to go back over to this screen. I'm going to locate the industry groups right here, the industries index. I'm going to change to it, and I'm still sorted on view number 3 with advancing issues versus declining issues. And specialty chemicals were up strong today, and if I continue and use the same chart, you can see that it was a strong day based upon these colors up here. Aircraft and parts index, same thing. Same thing goes for containers and packaging. Home builders are strong, 22 to nothing. Exploration and production, just a lot of green on these indexes that I'm doing, or the industry groups. The industry groups that have a lot of stocks, this is a valid method of doing this. These are all the industries. You can see that there was a buy signal here too. Also, I should say. Let's go down here a little bit. Semiconductor manufacturing, 24 to 3, advancers over decliners. Internet and media. So you can see the rotation out of a lot of these stocks coming right back into it as we closed out the week. Okay, let's do this from a different level. I'm going to go into my sectors index, change to the index group, and sorting on this. This is all of the indexes combined, but you can see the materials sector, financial, industrials. Healthcare sector was the weakest, but it was 2.9 to 1, almost 3 to 1. And just a strong day today. Let's look at the materials. Once again, all green up here. So if looking forward to next week, if this continues, and I just don't see a lot of weakness right now, there should be plenty of good trading opportunities. I'm going to take this materials index, go down into the index, and then I'm going to just move down to stocks intraday, and let's see where the strength was. This is using my effort versus result combo ranking. If I bring this up, I'm going to now switch back to a different basic chart. I'll go to number 2, which has the VPA flags in it. And let's bring those other charts back into play. Okay, so we have a monthly, we have a weekly, and we have a daily. I have the dailies with the VPA flags, as I mentioned, or the signals, and you can also see the trend here. It's up, and up on these boxes on the daily and the weekly, and these are charts 1A and 1B. You can see that the trend is up on the monthly chart for this stock, Levitt, not quite sure how to pronounce it. Let me resize this one. The daily or the weekly chart is up. It gapped open on the daily. You can see, and then it came down here, digested that, and then on Friday, which is today, it had an effort to rise. Volume came into it. I'll make this full screen so we can see it a little bit better. You can see on this, okay, with the crosshair. Big move up here on effort to rise. This was on Monday when it gapped open and traded down on relatively heavy volume. Volume was heavy the following day, but look at the support coming into this stock. It opened here, traded down here. The wick went all the way down here to about 12 and a quarter, and it closed above 13. Next day, not really a spinning top. This is more of a spinning top here, but indecisiveness. Here they took it up and it traded back down, but notice how it's holding in this area. So the support area here was right through here on these 2 or 3 days, and then we had an effort to rise on more volume today. So that's a possible stock to look at on Monday. LTHM. Quick add to group. I'm going to choose a group. I'm going to put it in a watch list. I'm going to say new 2020 11 16, I believe. So I'm going to do a little Friday afternoon prospecting here. Let's take a look at Century Aluminum. On the monthly chart, yeah, I would say the monthly chart, the trend has changed to up. Weekly chart, no, it really hasn't yet. But on the daily chart, it has changed to up. Here's a low pivot. This would be a pivot buy here when it takes that out. Traded down that day, but it's been working its way higher, and there is an effort to rise today. Gap up here. You can see the support area in through here held on this, and it looks like it may want to go higher. Earnings are out of the way. I don't like this one as much as the other one. I'm going to put it in the watch list though. United States Steel. Old stock. Looks like the long-term trend is still down. I'm really not interested in that stock or any of these steels. Well, let's take a look at Allegheny. I may take that back. No, the monthly trend is really still down. It's bottoming out. Weekly, if it takes out this high right here on the weekly, here's the first higher high, second higher high, and just anywhere above that, like on Monday, if it continues to go, then I would say that trend has reversed. And that is to the upside. I'm going to add that one too. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time doing that. Instead, what I want to do is I want to go to all securities. I'm going to hold my alternate key in the space bar. And you can see that it takes me to all securities. I'll bring this back up. And I'm going to close this up. Go down to my number 3 folder. This is the folder I use the most, and I'm going to look at scorecard stocks intraday today. Sorted on a raw combo, and you can see that International Game Technology is at the top of the list. Let's take a look at it. You know, there's all kinds of trading opportunities every day. You just have to take a little time and look for them. I'm going to change to the industry group. By doing that, I can see down this list how many of these gaming stocks we're up for the day. And let's take a look at MGM. Then I'm going to go back to this. MGM. Monthly chart. Wow. Okay, here's your first higher high. This, even though it came back down, was a second higher high. And then when this stock, well, no, it had to break through this, really. If I'm using the upper wick, it had to get through there. So that means, for my third higher high, that means that the trend on the monthly did change this month. And you can see after this waterfall, free fall here, that it's just been bouncing around. It's really not the kind of chart I like to look at, just because there's so much uncertainty in here. Let's take a look at Casper Sleep here. Let's look for a tighter chart. I don't like that. We're still really in the contraction area rather than expansion. Okay, now this is one that I noticed today. I didn't buy it, unfortunately, but it's a good example of a stock where the monthly trend is clearly up. The weekly trend, after moving up sharply, it was indecisive, but it started moving up again this week, and it's out to a new high. It's an IPO, and this was just a beautiful setup. Really on the daily chart with all these VPA flags here. This is a negative effort to fall, but the next day an effort to rise with strength seen returning, and then a confirmation. And it moved up nicely. Most of the days it closed in the upper part of the body, which means there was buying pressure going into the close, and then today it really broke out. But there were many opportunities to buy this stock. See what it is. Auto parts. You can see the volume coming in. So the demand is there. A little bit late to get in now, but it can certainly keep going. It's not that old of a stock. I'm going to add it to the group. Okay, I'm not going to do much more of this, but how can we not look at a bunch of stocks that are not going up? Well, the easiest way, in my opinion, and since most of you are Insider Club members, is to go down to my user smart groups, and I'm going to look at I don't want stocks and groups. Here's what I'm looking for. Trend combo, all trends up, end of day. So if all the trends are up on these are stocks that may be better prospects. I want to see if I put one of these in my intraday. I don't think I did yet. So I'm going to use the intraday, end of day data from Thursday, and let's see which of these followed through today. INOD, INOD. And looking at this, see, this eliminates a lot of stocks because the trends are up. If you look over here, you'll see that all of them are up. This is a inexpensive stock. Doesn't matter. The trends are what counts. Trends are up here. The trends on the weekly, it fell down 4 weeks in a row, but then it had a little bit of a hammer. Well, it was a hammer here, and then the past 2 weeks it's been moving up. Monthly chart looks strong too. Doesn't trade a lot of volume, but it was a really nice percentage gainer today, up 15.37%. There's that expel that I already looked at. That was in yesterday's group of all trends up. Remember, we just looked at this. Here's Energy Technology, another inexpensive one. This is one that I'm in. I've been in for a few days. This is SOL, and I found it here. Strong monthly chart. Weekly chart, it hesitated for a while, and then it started moving up last week. I bought it yesterday, and I had a trailing stop in, and I got back into it today. I didn't buy as many shares as I originally had, but I'm carrying it over the weekend. So this is a quick way, just by using VPA trend combo, all trends up, where you can come in and you can quickly look through a bunch of stocks. Now, here's one that traded up nicely, but they took profits. PDD, I'm sorry. Nice weekly chart. Monthly chart looks nice. Gap up, moved up higher. CELH, this is another one. I owned this one a while back. Obviously, I got out of it too soon. Strong monthly chart. Weekly chart, it's in contraction throughout here, it looks like, and then it moved up nicely this week on the gap, probably on earnings. Grow, this is a pot stock. Talked about it in the webinar yesterday. Weekly trends up, monthly trends up. Daily trend, kind of all over the place, but this is where, if you want to get rid of some of this noise, you just go down to like chart number 3 or 4 or 5. Let's go to 5. And you can see the low pivot. You can see the crossover. You can see the group. You can see everything. And it takes a little bit of that decision making out. The entry point obviously was right here. Another chance right here after the 2-day pullback. You really don't worry too much about a 2-day pullback. Okay, let's take a look at NEO. Now, this has been the stellar stock recently. And you can see that it gapped open today and traded all the way up to about 54. Traded all the way back down to 40.69. Let's just go to another, my black charts, number 6. I think I got away from NEO here. Let me bring NEO up. Here we go. Okay. The high divided by the low, 33%. You know, a lot of angst on this stock today. The high was 54.20, all the way down to 40.55. There's a $14 swing, and then it recovered close to $5 of it going into the close on extremely heavy volume. But you can see why this one passed this smart group. The trend is obviously up. Now this is worrisome unless you're just a buy and hold person and can give up profits like this. But you don't know how far it's going to go during the day. And looking at the longer term chart, monthly, still very strong, weekly strong, except there's, I would consider this a shooting star, which you see in these 5 candles put together, represented in this weekly chart. So it's one to watch. It's had a huge run already. I'd be very careful with it right now, though I would look for some consolidation before I'd ever consider getting into it. But my point is, it is in this smart group. VPA trend combo, all trends up. So this will help cut down on some of your processing time or prospecting time. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. I'll see some of you next Thursday.